Now, you've also directed and produced. What can you tell us about that? And also, where can people watch some of that stuff? Because I was digging around on IMDb and I saw, ooh, The Adventures of Super 7, Judges, After the Blast, but I couldn't find where I could see those things. So, could you tell us some about all that?
Yeah. Well, the Super 7 thing was just simply, I wasn't really involved in that per se. I knew the
Oh,
guy remotely that was doing it, but it was the Indiegogo campaign. So, as part of the funding of that, you get credit as a associate producer or something like that
okay.
for that particular project. But the Judges project is Alan's short film that he wrote and we produced it. What happened was in 2012, like right around the time when I was starting to do Hanging Coffins in 2013, but I said to Alan, I said, well, we want to do these short films and films we've been talking about all the time. I said, what do we need to do this? What equipment do we need? Because I was doing I had a really good computer job back then, making over six figures from 2011 to 2013, which I had done in the past as well. But back then I was doing really well. So I said, what do we need equipment wise? What if I just buy like a modern day DSLR camera at the time, like a digital camera, lenses, or whatever the hell we need? So he said, okay. So he went and researched and found a guy on Craigslist selling a rig with all the equipment that we would need. A DSLR, like a Canon 7D camera with the different lenses, the lens kit and everything. It was like $7,500 or something at the time. So, which was probably maybe overpriced, but I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. So I bought it. And then I said, okay, what we'll do is we'll make a few short films at first and then get prepared to try to do our bigger feature projects that we were trying to plan on. So then me and Alan and another guy named Sam, one of his mutual friends that I met through him. It's okay, so let's each work on a short film. With the Judges thing in particular, Alan was coming up with ideas, Sam was coming up with ideas, I was coming up with ideas. One of my ideas initially was, to keep it simple, was like four guys in business suits arguing around the table about a project that had gone bad and needed to be terminated. And in the very end, you find out that what they're talking about is the Earth, that they're like aliens or something. You know what I mean? And like a Twilight Zone thing. The point was, is it was about a business deal gone bad that has to be terminated. And at the end, you find out it's the Earth. We talked about that, and then I said, "Well, I thought of a bunch of ideas." And Alan said, "Wait a second, are you going to do that one?" I said, "No, I don't want to do it. Do you want to do it?" He said, "Yeah, I could expand on that or whatever." I said, "Okay." So I said, "Yeah, go ahead and do it." So Alan took that idea, crux of that idea, you know what I mean, and built into a film called Judges, which is basically about four guys that are like aliens, but they look like people. It ended up being like a 20-minute film. In hindsight, we both agree, I think it probably should have been a little bit shorter, like maybe 10 minutes or something. For film festivals, they want you shorter the better, which we didn't really realize at that time either. It did get picked up by a film festival and it won like best music or something, best original music. Initially, Alan wanted me to be one of the guys, but at the time I felt helping do the producing and the behind the scenes production work would have been too much for me to juggle with actually partaking in the scene itself as an actor, because there was a lot of dialogue in this thing. It's like a 20 minutes of nothing but dialogue. And it just would have been kind of complicated. So we hired a different guy to do the part that I would have played. I would have played the bald guy. So that's how that kind of came about. And then we went ahead and Sam came up with another idea for some project of his. And then in my case, I suddenly discovered the Doritos thing. And suddenly, instead of doing a short film, I went ahead and made my Doritos commercials in that same time frame. Whereas you can see it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And I'll give you a link to where it is. And the other thing, After the Blast, that's Sam's thing. His idea for After the Blast was basically a 30-minute film about a nuclear holocaust that happens, and then there's a lone survivor guy wandering out in the wasteland. He stumbles across some sort of thing, knocks on the door, and these people open the door and they say, "Oh, hi, we're some survivors. Come in." And it turns out that they're like, the guy says, "Oh, I'm the president of the United States," or whatever. And he's like, "What? Oh, yeah, I used to be the Secretary of Agriculture, but now because of the way that there's no one in succession, I'm the next one. So I'm president," or something like that. Welcome aboard. And it's this weird thing where these people are like pretending to be the political leaders of the country or something. And then in the end, you find out that they're just a bunch of other survivors. But that's another one. I'll send you the link to that. So,
That's
and we
great.
shot them all with my camera, the 7D and all that stuff, the lenses. But basically, they were all great learning experiences because, once again, we went through the whole process of casting and shooting and having to supply people with chairs and tables and toilets and things and food. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's a complicated process to make a movie. I mean, I still try to figure out in my head, like, I know it can be scoped down a little bit more, like if I decide to do one in the future, like I said, with a gimbal and a cell phone camera to keep it simple. But anyways, so that's how that happened.